Earlier today, I released my review of The Suicide Squad, which is a film I love, just like basically everybody else. I absolutely love this film, and I don't typically do this with superhero movies, and I don't really know why. Today, I'm going to rank all the characters here on a tier list. I'll read it out and everything, don't worry, but I've seen a lot of people do this, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to hop on the train and do this just because I really love this movie, and I really love a ton of the characters in it. So, without further ado, let's get into it, but warning, there will be spoilers a little bit in this video just because you'll understand. Just, you'll see if you watch the whole video. If you've seen the movie though, you can keep watching. If you haven't, click off this video, go watch it, especially in the theaters. I highly recommend it. Top 3 of the year easily for me. It's a lot of people's number 1, but let's get into it. So I'm just going to go in order here. I'm just going to put them on in the order they appeared. I didn't make the actual character part of it, but I just made the tiers here. And the tiers are all-time, scene stealer, great, good, alright, and no impact. I will obviously explain for every single character, so let's just get into it. First off is TDK, and he was funny. He was funny. I'll put him in the alright tab. I don't have too much to say about him, except he was funny and there was some good jokes early on with his character, although I almost put him in the no impact thing, but I'm like, you know what, he sticks in my head a little bit. There are some characters here which I really just don't care for, so I will put them in the no impact part, but he's pretty good. Next up is Pete. There's Chris texting me. Next up is Pete Davidson as, I think, Blackguard was his name. I'm pretty sure. I'm putting him in the good tab, and maybe I'm a little biased because I really love Pete Davidson, but he had some amazing jokes here. One of my favorite scenes is early on when he sat next to Weasel and then he just starts freaking out. It's hilarious. Again, he isn't in the movie that much. He, again, I said spoilers, has a brutal kill. He's one of the characters that's killed off very early on in the film, but he made an impact. Out of all the characters that were killed off early on, I think he was easily the best one. Next up is Bloodsport, obviously like the leader of the group, and I'm going to put him in Scene Stealer. Now, Scene Stealer is basically the next all-time, and just warning you, there will only be one character that goes in the all-time thing. Scene Stealer is like basically the highest praise besides, it's like a 98% basically, if that makes sense, and Idris Elba was fantastic in the movie. He gave easily one of the best performances. He was the leader of the team, and he really did a great job. He has so many badass action sequences, especially one where the gun just he just builds onto it, builds on, and one of my favorite scenes of the film is when him and John Cena as Peacemaker are trying to one-up each other. Everybody's talked about it, and then they end up killing the wrong people. It's pretty funny. Next up is Captain Boomerang. No impact. I really don't care for this character. I didn't really care for him that much in the first one, and that's not really something with the actor. I can't think of the actor's name off the top of my head, but I think he has 3 lines in the movie. That doesn't really, it doesn't impact me. That's just how I feel. Next up is Harley Quinn, and for those who watch my review know that she is my favorite character in the Suicide Squad and one of my favorite DC characters ever. She is going in all-time because she's one of my all-time favorite characters. Obviously, I think that's self-explanatory. I love Harley Quinn so much. She was easily the best part of the 2016 one. She's one of the only things I liked in that movie, and that's a movie that I've seen once. I hate it. I haven't seen it since 2016. It's been 5 years because that's how much I disliked it, but she's one of my all-time favorite DC characters, or just comic book characters ever, and she has my favorite scene in the movie. It's when she's going out and just killing all the guards and everyone. It's so awesome. Next up, I think his name's Javelin. No impact really. The only thing, he impacts the story the tiniest bit when he gives his javelin to Harley Quinn, and it does lead to one of the funniest. Actually, you know what? I'll put him in the alright category. Again, nothing on the actors who are getting in the no impact part or the lower ones. It's just how much they're used in the film, and he goes in the alright one just because he does have that funny scene where he's dying, and then he's telling Harley bring it, and she's like, oh my god, and then she's like, Who am I supposed to bring it to? And she starts slapping him and everything, and obviously that leads into the end. So yeah, I'll put him in the alright. Next up is King Shark, or I don't know how to say his name, starts with an N. He goes into Scene Stealer. I mean, come on, Sylvester Stallone, perfect casting. I mean, I had no idea it was him. I just knew he was in the movie. And then when it ended, I was like, he's King Shark? That is so awesome. A lot of people, he's a fan favorite already. Everybody loves him. I loved him in here. Bird. And like stuff like that is just so funny. It works perfectly, at least for me. I really loved him. I thought he was really awesome here. And I'm excited to see what they're going to do in the future with him, if they have anything else planned for him. And the CGI also was like really, really good. Like I noticed the texture. I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing to say, like the texture really worked well. Next up is this character. I can't even remember what her name is, so obviously no impact. I mean, I don't really have anything to say about her. She goes in the no impact thing because I don't really care for her. But next up we have Peacemaker, of course. Scene Stealer, again, Scene Stealer is, I put these characters in the category, basically it's like the top. Besides all time, it's the top. They're some of the best characters in the movie, but they all have certain scenes that really stick in my head. And obviously I talked about this scene between Idris Elba and John Cena where they're kind of one-upping each other, and it's really awesome. He has some amazing lines here, and just, I don't know, the costume seems so simplistic, and I love what John Cena is doing with it in real life, how he's taking it to the premiere, talk shows, everything. I think it's really cool. I love this character, and I'm so excited for the Peacemaker show. Next up, we have Polka Dot Man, and I'm going to put him in the great category. Now, did I ever expect to say that Polka Dot Man would go in the great tier? Not at all. Like, when you look up the dumbest DC character, it comes up as Polka Dot Man, and that's what James Gunn did, and that's why they put him in the film, and that proves how good this film is. I said this in my review. When you have a character that is Polka Dot Man, you put him in this movie and it works, that says how good your movie is. Really awesome. I really love the jokes, you know, with his mom, and then that one scene at the end with Idris Elba where he's like, you see who that is? Your mom! And then he like starts shooting his polka dots. Like, he shoots polka dots. I mean, that's kind of cool. Next up is Ratcatcher 2, and I'm putting her in Scene Stealer. Again, I loved her. Like, she was easily one of my favorite characters here. She was really like the heart and soul of the film. She had all the emotional moments. I loved kind of the backstory, the very short backstory with Taika Waititi. I think it worked really well, and her and Sebastian, even the little rat, I think it's just kind of cute. And this mask, I think she really only wears one time in the movie, but I thought she was really cool. The actress was really strong. She had so many funny lines. You know, she's playing the millennial, like playing the teenager that's always sleeping and everything, or young adult, whatever you want to say, and I think it really worked for me. Next up is Rick Flag, and I'm going to put him, I'll put him in the good category. Now, he's a better character than Blackguard, if that is his name, if I remember correctly. He's a better character than Pete Davidson, and I almost want to put him in the great category, but I am going to put him in the good. He has some very good scenes, but overall, he isn't as good as these other characters that are up here for me, and the actor is really good. Like, the actor is really strong. Actually, no, he's going in the great category. Ignore what I'm saying. He's good. He's a little bit lower than Polka Dot Man for me, but he has a lot of scenes that work. His final scene in the film versus John Cena, that one is really great. That's what in my head I went, oh wait, there's that scene. So then I will bump him up. He's a pretty great character. Not one of my favorites, but he's really solid. Next up is this guy. He opens the movie. Nothing. He kills a bird and then he runs away and he gets his head blown off. So, I mean, there's that, but I can't even remember his name, and I should look it up, and I was going to look it up on my phone, but I'm like, this will say enough about the characters if I can't really think of them. And then next up is Thinker, or whatever his name is, and he's good. He's good in the movie. He isn't amazing or anything, but he's just as good as he needs to be. He's like kind of the villain in some parts, kind of not, like he's definitely a bad guy and an antagonist, but I wouldn't say like he is the bad guy or the antagonist, but I think it really works. I thought the actor did a really good job here, and it works towards the end. I think it's cool. There's nothing really too much to say about the character. As you can tell, I'm trying to really think of stuff. There wasn't too much, but he was good for what he had to do. And finally is Weasel. Now, Weasel is someone I'm going to cheat and put on two categories. First up, he is he's a good character, but I also kind of want to put him in Scene Stealer. And the reason he's in Scene Stealer is because he steals every single scene he's in. Obviously, he really deserves to go here or even here, but I just really loved him. He's not as good of a character as Polka Dot Man or Rick Flag or any of these people, so let's just say he's kind of in here. I'm not going to put him in the great category because he isn't a great character, but he's good and steals a bunch of scenes. That is my ranking of all the characters in the Suicide Squad. I know I didn't number them like whatever, like 15, 14, all that. I was just like, if I put them in tiers, I can't really decide who's the best and the worst of like all the people in No Impact, but I really liked almost all the characters here. I love some, you got Harley Quinn, my favorite character in it. You have so many amazing characters. King Shark, Bloodsport, everyone, Peacemaker, Ratcatcher 2, Polka Dot Man, Rick Flag. So many great characters. I'm so glad I love the film. Make sure to check out my review of that. I will link it down below in the description, and tell me your ranking. Who are your favorite characters here? And thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Over and out.